Hey, Divine Ones, do you like this show and you want to make your own? Well, baby, let me tell you a little bit about Anchor. It is absolutely free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. And now you can even add any song from Spotify directly to your episodes. The possibilities are endless for what you can create, whether it's music analysis, your own radio show, or something that the world has never heard before. Anchor is also going to distribute your podcast for you. That's right, baby. They're going to do the work for you so that it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many, many more. You can even make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. All you got to do is download the free Anchor app today or go to anchor.fm to get started. That's how you know. That's how you know. You have to evaluate. That's it. You have to evaluate your willingness and evaluate how easy or how hard is it to go back to your routine of being you after this person, after the breakup, after the friendship has ended, after the business deal or the business partnership has ended or everything has dissolved and it what once was no longer is, and y'all done split and y'all done parted ways. How easy is it for you to go back to being you without them? If it's difficult, if it's hard, if you crying, if you broken, if you grieving, if it's taking everything in you just to get out of bed, taking everything in you just to get on a video, it's taking everything in you just to clock in, taking everything you got just to get up enough strength to put on your gym clothes and go to the gym. If that's the case, you gave too much. You gave too much of yourself. You lost yourself somewhere in that friendship. You lost yourself somewhere in that situationship, somewhere in that relationship, somewhere in that marriage. You lost yourself. You gave them too much of you and you didn't leave enough for yourself. You didn't leave enough for yourself. You gave so much of yourself to them that you didn't prepare yourself, or it never crossed your mind of the possibility that you would have to live life without them, or you would have to go on without that friendship, or go on without that marriage, or go on without that relationship, go on without that business partner, do business without them, go on without that person in your life. It didn't cross your heart across your mind that you would have to go on without them. So in all of your giving, it felt good to give that love, felt good for them more than you, because they were on the receiving end. They were receiving all that energy from you. They was receiving all that love. They was receiving all that attention. So it felt good to them because you giving everything, you giving all of you, but they only gave you a portion of them. They only gave you a portion of the friendship that they had. They only gave you a portion of the love that they said they had for you. And they kept some. See, they were smart because they didn't put all their eggs in one basket. They kept some for themselves. And because they kept some of them for themselves, while you was giving all of you, they was able to go on after the friendship and continue on with other friends. They was able to go on after the relationship and continue on in other relationships. They was able to go on after the business partnership with you and continue on and do business with other people, connect with other people, network with other people, while you sitting there looking stupid and you sitting there crying your eyes out thinking, how could they do this to me? How could they? They could do it because they didn't give you, they never were invested like you was. They never was invested like you was. They even tell us, I don't even know nothing about stocks and bonds, but I'm pretty sure with investments and stuff, they tell you, you don't invest everything that you have. You don't give everything that you have. What you invest, you put out there what you're willing to lose. You got to put out there into the market, into the stock market. You put out what you're willing to lose. So even if the market crashes, you fine with losing out on that, because it ain't no biggie. You got enough to count your losses and keep on going. You got enough to invest again. You got enough to get into stocks and bonds again, or get in whatever investment you want to get into. Because why? You were wise enough to not give everything you had. You was wise enough not to put all your eggs into that one little basket, putting all your eggs into that one friendship, pouring out everything, trying to be the best friend you could be, pouring out everything into that relationship, trying to be the best girlfriend or the best boyfriend that you could be, with that pick me spirit, with that pick me energy, putting out all of that. You gave so much to feel worthy. And what it really is it's a subconscious belief that you have to do something to show that you're worthy. It's a deep rooted subconscious belief that you have to give and give and give and prove and prove and prove and show that you are worthy of love, that you're worthy of a friendship, but you don't have to do and give anything. Your worth is in who you are. It's not what you do and what you can do for a person or what you can do for a friend. Your worth is in who you are. Your worth is just in you being. It ain't got nothing to do with you doing. But you have a deep rooted subconscious belief somewhere in your conditioning, in your programming. You picked up the belief that I have to show them that I am worthy of their love. Like I have to show them that I deserve to be picked. I have to show them me just being myself isn't enough. I gotta give this and give that and show this and show that. And so you give. And you give and you give and you give and you give all of yourself, and you leave none of yourself for you because you don't love you. The self-love is not there, because if the self-love was there, the self-love would kick in and say, hey, wait a minute, danger, alert, you giving too much, you giving too much, you too available, you too accessible, you just too much, you doing too much. But when you don't have that self-love and you don't have that belief system that said that'll warn you and let you know that you're giving too much, you need to fall back, you feel guilty when you fall back. You feel guilty when you take your attention back. You feel guilty when you take your energy back. But the whole time, they was never giving you all their attention. They was never giving you all of your energy. They was on the receiving end, taking everything that you had. Loving up, eating up everything that you had, that you was given. And the whole time, subconsciously, you're screaming, pick me, love me, be my friend. I'm worthy. I'm worthy of a ring. I'm worthy to be a husband. I'm worthy to be a wife. Like that subconscious part of you is screaming, pick me, love me. And a lot of times it came from something in your childhood to where it was either a parent or a guardian or a family member or a loved one that they just never gave you that love that you were searching for. They never gave you that love. They never gave you that attention that you was yearning for. They never gave it to you. And you always felt, and that left you feeling like you wasn't enough. That left you, either they abandoned you or they betrayed you, or it was something that happened that was so strong that it made a strong impression on your subconscious mind that you have to do something. You have to jump through hoops. You gotta show them how high you can jump, or you got to show them how wonderful you are. You got to buy them this and buy them that, or you got to try to be the best friend you could be. You got to always be there when they call you, or you got to always be there when they text you. That longing for love as a child, it left you feeling like I need to show them how wonderful I am, because they can't see naturally how wonderful I am. And just me being myself, they can't see it. So I need to show them. And what happens is you run that pattern over and over and over, because it's subconscious behavior. It's a habit. You run it over and over and over. So it's different people, it's different faces, but you have the same experiences with all of these people. You give too much. You're too accessible to these people. You're too available to these people. You pouring out everything that you have. You casting your pearls before swine is what you really doing. You casting your pearls before swine. So you giving all of yourself. And then when it all falls down, when the ball bounce down, like my grandma and them say, when the ball bounce down and y'all split, and y'all go y'all separate ways, you broken. You broken. You broken because you ain't left nothing for yourself. They pick up their stuff, they count their losses, and they going on by their business. And they able to do that with a smile on their face. They might hurt a little bit, but it ain't going to be nothing compared to the hurt that you going to feel. And you're going to know where you dropped the ball at. You're going to know where you went wrong at when you evaluate how easy is it for me to go back to being me? How easy is it for me? How easy or how hard is it for me to go back to my routine of being the awesome me without them? If it's difficult, if it's hard, if it's so much pain, you feel like you're going to die, you gave too much. You gave too much. You were too accessible. You were too available. You were in a perfect world, the person on the receiving end would receive that and would reciprocate that and give that back to you. But that's not the world that we live in. We live in a world full of savages. We live in a world full of people that are willing to take, but don't want to give. So when you got a giving heart, when you have a giving spirit, you have to be careful. That's why Jesus told us, do not cast your pearls before swine, lest they trample them under their feet and turn on you. The same people that you gave to, the same people that you poured out to, these are the people that's going to turn. A lot of times, these are the people that's going to turn against you. These are the people that's going to go their separate ways, and they're going to take what you gave them. They're going to take what they learned from you. They're going to take all of the attention, all the energy that you gave them, and they're going to turn on you. And they'll go and put that on somebody else. They'll take your pearls that you gave them and put them around somebody else's neck. That's the type of world we live in. And Jesus knew that. That's why he told us, don't cast your pearls before swine. Clench your pearls. Hold on to your pearls. He says, do not give what is holy to the dogs. Do not give all your good energy, your good love, your good friendship. You know that you're a good friend, but you can't be a good friend to everybody because everybody don't deserve your friendship. You know that you're a good partner. You know that you would make a good husband. You know you would make a good wife, but you can't give that to just anybody because a lot of people don't deserve that. They don't deserve that. So you have to evaluate how easy or how hard is it for you to go back to doing life after the breakup, after the friendship ends, after the business deal went down, after you and your family split ways or whoever it was, however it went down. How easy is it for you to go back to doing you? Like I said, if it's hard for you to go back to doing you without them, that's how you know. That's how you know. I gave too much of myself. I did it again. I tried to prove my love. I got to fight every night just to prove my love. No, you don't. That's a subconscious belief. That's a mentality. That's a way of thinking. That is a conditioning. That is mental conditioning that you got to break down. You got to shift that old paradigm of thinking that I show my love by what I do. I show my love by doing this and by doing that and by running here. No, you show your love by who you are, by just being. By just being. God loves us just because of who we are, not because of what we did, not because of how much we pray, not because of how much we go to church or how much we read our Bible or how much we speak in tongues. He loves us because of who we are. We don't have to do anything to get his love. We already have his love. So that's the first step really in breaking that mental conditioning of thinking that I got to do something in order to be loved. You got to stop and ask yourself, what did I do for God to love me? I didn't do anything because the Bible says while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. When we was doing everything to not deserve his love, and he still gave us his love. He still gave it to us. So that shows you that it's not about the good stuff that you do for a person. It's not about you always saying yes to them. It's not about you always being there for them. It's not about you always picking up your phone when they call you or you texting them right back when they text you. No, it's about you loving you, you appreciating you, you respecting you, you knowing your self-worth, and you walking in that. You walking in that, you knowing that it is in who I am that makes me great. If you can't just naturally see who I am, I'm not finna jump through hoops to get you to see why I'm a good friend or to see why I'm a good husband or a good wife. I'm not finna do that. If you can't see it, we ain't got nothing else to talk about. So you got to evaluate how did you going on from this point, when you picking up the pieces, because a lot of the divine ones picking up the pieces, you picking up the pieces and you trying to figure out, how did this person move on so quick? Why am I still sitting here 6 months later, a year later, 2 years later, and I'm still broken, I'm still crying? It's because you gave too much. You gave too much. You put too much in. You invested too much. You can't do that. You can't do that, beloved. You can't put all your eggs there. You can't give everything you got, especially not in the beginning. You got to keep something for yourself. You got to hold on to you. Hold on. You give them a piece of you. You can give them a portion, but the chunk of who you are, that's for you. That's for you, because you got to always prepare yourself you gotta always prepare yourself for the possibility that it might come a day when I ain't dealing with you no more. It might come a day when you betray me. It might come a day when you go your separate ways from me. It might come a day when this business deal that we got go down. It just might come a day. So even though I don't even want to think about that, because I love you so much, I still got to keep the chunk of me for myself, because life goes on. That's why you see people, they end it all and they just take themselves out, because they gave so much till they lost them. They didn't keep the chunk of them for themselves. They gave it to that person. I heard somebody say, you don't never want to give somebody the key to your happiness. Never give somebody the key to your happiness, because when they got that key in their pocket and they walk away, then what you gonna do? What you gonna do? You done gave them the key to your happiness and they done walked away. They done rolled off into the sunset. Now what you gonna do? Do not cast your pearls before swine. You own the key to your happiness. You keep the key to your heart. You don't fall so carelessly in love with somebody. No, I remember I heard Bishop R.C. Blake say this. He said, a wise woman does not fall in love. A wise woman walks into love. You got to walk into love. You got to go into something, or go into love or a friendship or a business deal with your head on your shoulders, with your head on right. You got to think logically. Don't let your heart lead you, and because your heart can be deceiving. Don't let your heart lead you. You got to think logically. You got to keep the chunk of you for yourself. Because at the end of the day, that's really all you got. I don't care if you married, I don't care if you got a wife, you got a husband. You're not finna stand before God with them folks. You're going to stand before God by yourself, because that's all you got is you. So you got to keep that chunk of you for you. Yes, you do need to love people. Yes, you do need to cultivate healthy relationships and friendships with people. You do need to do that. But these people will only receive a piece of you. They only going to receive a portion of you. The chunk of who you are, you're going to keep that for yourself. You're going to keep that for yourself. So what does that look like? You can be friends with people, but you ain't got to do everything with that person. You ain't got to go everywhere with that person. You ain't got to call that person every day and talk to them on the phone, or it's going to be a problem. Y'all ain't got to go out to brunch every week. Y'all ain't got to go to dinner every weekend. Y'all ain't got to go out and party and go to happy hour every weekend. You may have other friends. You may have other people that you connect with. You may have other people that you network with. Okay, you may be dating somebody. You may be in a relationship with somebody. Do you got to answer your phone every time that person call you? Do you got to drop everything you doing every time they call? Do you got to give up all your plans, give up everything you got on your calendar? Stop going to the gym. Stop doing what you're doing. Stop running your business. You canceling appointments with your clients because they want to go on a date night, or they want to do this, do that. See, you giving too much. And that's how you end up getting hurt. That's how you end up getting broken. That's how you end up sitting there wondering, how did I end up in this spot all over again? And this person that went on with their life. It's because they kept something for themselves. They were smart. They were smart. Let's just be real. They were smart. They was wise. And they kept the chunk of themselves for themselves. They didn't give it to you. They didn't give it to you. So you got to keep your chunk for you. Don't give it to them. Don't give them all of you. Don't be so right there for anything. Like you run into the phone, you about to break your neck. Like if you don't get that text, you can't think right. If you don't get that good night text, you can't think right. If you don't get that phone call, you can't think right. You got anxiety, or you giving too much. That's not their fault. That's your fault. You giving too much. And you got to go sit down and you got to deal with you. You got to examine you. You got to evaluate you. You got to say, what is in me? What it is come from that I feel like I got to be so available, or I got to drop everything, or I got to prove myself in order to show them that I'm worthy of their love, in order to show them that I'm worthy of being picked, in order to show them that I'm worthy to be their friend. You got to sit down with you. That's a homework assignment for you. You got to sit down with you, get that journal, get that blue ink pen, and you got to dig deep. You got to do the work on you and say, where did this come from? And how can I shift this? You can shift it by speaking words of affirmation over yourself through repetition every single day, telling yourself, I am worthy of love just because of who I am. Just because of who I am valuable. I am worthy. I deserve good things. I deserve great friendships. I deserve great relationships. And these things are in abundance to me. You don't have to operate with a scarcity mindset. You don't have to. In my scarcity mindset masterclass, I talked about overcoming a scarcity mindset from money, but there's also a such thing as a scarcity mindset when it comes to relationships, when it comes to friendships, when it comes to family members. Some people are operating with a scarcity mindset thinking that I'm never going to find a friend like this ever again. That person is not the only good friend that's walking the earth. That woman is not the only good woman that's walking the earth. That man is not the only good man that's walking the earth. It's plenty more where they came from. But you have to shift your mindset and think abundantly. And you have to understand that you deserve good things. You deserve Jesus said, I come that you might have life and that you might have it more abundantly. So abundance is your right. It is your birthright. But you got to change your mental conditioning. You got to change your programming. You got to change the subconscious beliefs that you carrying around that are rejecting that abundance, that are repelling that abundance, that's keeping the good friends away from you. It's keeping the good men and keeping the good women away from you. That by universal law, they cannot approach you because you don't have the mindset to attract them. You don't have the mindset to believe that they out there and that they love you and they want you just for who you are. Not for what you do for them, not for how available you are to them, not for how you always come through for them. It's people out there that'll love you and you ain't never got to do nothing for these people. They'll love you just because of who you are. But you got to change your mindset.